All right, so Ken, you've always been real open and honest. I think the one thing that I get from your interviews is like you're not only an open book, but you go so deep that there's nothing that's being hidden. But the one thing that's always interested me about you is obviously you had a rough upbringing, and Bob Shamrock took you in, eventually became your father. But you don't really talk about life prior to the group home, like your mother and your father. Have you ever had contact with them since you have become, I guess, a celebrity?
Yeah, actually, my brother, Robbie, my biological brother, who's doing life in prison right now. But prior to that, he had reached out trying to find our dad and sent some letters out and got a response back. And lo and behold, he was our father. And I hated him for a long time, just never thought much of him. Because we felt that he left us, well, at least that's what we thought. And so I remember when he came to visit, he was going to drive up. I'd already been fighting. I had the celebrity status, and I was like, Rob, why did you do that? He says, I already have a father. I said, I don't need this. And so he says, yeah, but he should have the right to, know who we are. I want to know who he is. I says, all right. But I'm going to make sure I set it straight with them. That I have a dad, and unfortunately things happen the way they happen. That's just the way it is. He gets there and we start talking, and he calls me his son. It bothers me, right? But I found out that it wasn't necessarily. I mean, obviously it was some of his fault because he wasn't living properly. He was running around. He was drinking. He was an alcoholic. But he didn't leave us like we thought. What happened was my biological mother had met somebody in the military, and she ended up hooking up with him. We jumped in the back of a '69 Camaro, and we drove 3,600 miles to Napa, California. He didn't realize that we were being taken, and he already had a restraining order against him. So for him to come hunt for us, especially in California, they had arrested him and stuff. So he said he had no idea where we were going. He didn't know we were going to California. He didn't know anywhere where we were going. She knew that she had met this guy, didn't know where he was from, and ended up just disappearing. He said that he feels bad because he didn't make an effort to find us, but he just felt that he had screwed up enough already that maybe this was the best thing. But then, 30, 40 years later, he gets this call from my brother asking if he's our dad.
That's wild. So
what do you tell a guy that, has changed his life around, he's become a Christian, he's got a family of his own, he's doing well, that he finds out when this other kid of his reaches out to him that he doesn't want to know the other two, which is my oldest brother, Richie, and myself. And so we did, and I accepted it, and so it's been a progress. I even did an interview with him one time where talked a little bit about some of the struggles that he went through and some stuff he was going through, and some of the thoughts that I had and the struggles I was going through. And so we kind of hashed those things out. Right now, I think we have a pretty good relationship. But it's still, he lives in Georgia, right? And I live here, and it's very, very difficult to reestablish any connection there because they're just so far away.
I've heard some of your interviews where, and this is kind of going off topic, where the way you approach relationships is very telling of somebody that has gone through a lot of therapy. Have you gone through a lot of therapy, or is this just through personal research where you've kind of come to where you're at today?
Yeah, more personal research. Obviously, my father being who he was and working with kids and constantly counseling them, I got a lot of that from him, of different characters and personalities and way to deal with things. That's where I got my thought process is from him. Always forgive, always give people a chance, but doesn't necessarily mean you have to let them in. Don't have to put yourself in a vulnerable position, but you don't have to turn them away. You don't have to reject them.
Right. Okay, so we got that out of the way. I know that's some deep stuff, and I sincerely appreciate your brutal honesty in regards to the topic. It's not an easy thing to discuss.